Hey there, Artist Caleb here, back with the 63 steps. No wait, that's the 39 steps. I was reading it upside down. Alright, continuing on. An unlikely visit. Those aren't horses, you're just banging two coconuts together.
Hey, can I speak to you? May I come in for a minute?
I recognized him as the occupant of a flat on the top floor, with whom I had passed the time of day on the stairs. Beam us up, Scotty. He was slim, with a short brown beard and small gimlety blue eyes. His hand was pawing at my arm. He was making a sound like this. I motioned him in. Come on, boy! Hang on a minute, I've got to figure out how to open this door. Sort of push it this way and up in. There we go. No sooner was he over the threshold than he made a dash for my back room, where I used to smoke and write my letters. He weed on my bed and made a poo on my floor. I had to punish him with a newspaper. Then he bolted back.
Is the door locked?
I wouldn't say that. He looks like he has gimlety eyes. Looks more like Peter Lorre. Blue point eyes. I just want to know, is your door locked? Dude, I have a toilet. Oh, okay. He filled himself a stiff whiskey and soda and drank it off in 3 gulps. I sat down in an armchair and lit my pipe. I was pretty certain that I had to deal with a madman.
I'm very sorry. It's a mighty liberty, but you look like the kind of man who would understand. I've had you in my mind all this week when things got troublesome. Say, will you do me a good turn?
I'll listen to you. That's all I'll promise.
Pardon. I'm a bit rattled tonight. You see, I happen at this moment to be dead.
What does it feel like?
A smile flickered over his drawn face.
I'm not mad. Yet. Say, sir, I've been watching you, and I reckon you're a cool customer.
Well, now you know I'm cool,
I reckon,
baby.
too, you're an honest man and not afraid of playing a bold hand. I'm gonna confide in you. I need help worse than any man ever needed it. I want to know if I can count you in.
So anyway, count you in, kind of awkward.
Get on with your yarn and I'll tell you.
I didn't know rigmaroles could be queer, but that's the queerest rigmarole I ever did see. Franklin P. Scudder was an American from Kentucky. I'm an Americorn. After college, being pretty well off, he started out to see the world. I'm an Americorn. Remember, tourists, if whilst visiting Europe the locals don't understand your native tongue, simply speak louder. That way they're sure to understand you. He wrote a bit and acted as war correspondent for a Chicago paper. See? He had played about a bit with politics, at first for interest, and then because he couldn't help himself. He needed to attend Politics Anonymous. He then made his discovery. He's about to make his discovery, I'm sure of it. Hang on. I bet he's on his way to making his discovery at any moment. Oh yes, here we go. The little bugger's onto something now. Away behind all the governments and all the armies, there was a big subterranean movement going on. We all live in a big yellow subterranean, engineered by some very dangerous people. I might add. The sort of educated anarchists that make revolutions.
Yeah, I've got a revolution doctor from MIT, okay?
And behind them were financiers who were playing for money.
Money? Are those pancakes?
They wanted Russia and Germany at loggerheads, so they drank the whiskey drink, they drank the loggerhead drink.
Well, you see, when two arrows love each other very, very much,
everything would be in the melting pot. The anarchists looked to see a new world emerge, while the capitalists would make fortunes by buying up wreckage. Scudder was also apparently a raving racist.
On the 15th day of June,
my true love sent to me.
Constantine Karolides is coming to this city.
He's gonna be touring with Led Zeppelin.
The British Foreign Office has taken to having international tea parties, and the biggest of them is due on that date. Now, Karolides is reckoned the principal guest, and if my friends have their way, he will never return to his admiring countrymen.
I sat up for that, for I had been reading about Karolides that very afternoon.
Well, that's simple enough, anyhow. You can warn him and keep him at home.
And play their game.
They play boring games like solitaire.
If he does not come, they win, for he's the only man that can straighten out the tangle. And if his government are warned, he won't come, for he does not know how big the stakes will be on June the 15th.
I was beginning to get interested in the beggar, because I love steaks.
What about the British government? They're not going to let their guests be murdered. Tip them the wink, and they'll take extra precautions.
No good. They might stuff your city with plainclothes detectives and double the police.
With little cheese and salsa.
And Constantine would still be a doomed man.
I think I'm hungry.
He'll be murdered by an Austrian. And there'll be plenty of evidence to show the connivance of the big folk in Vienna and Berlin. It will all be an infernal lie, of course, but the case will look black enough to the world.
I wasn't sure what he meant by that because he is a bit racist.
But it's not going to come off if there's a certain man alive right here in London on the 15th day of June. And that man is going to be your servant, Franklin P. Scudder.
Collected Scudder. Sounds like a chimney cleaning problem. I was getting to like the little chap. His jaw had shut like a rat trap, and there was the fire of battle in his gimlety eyes. A gimlet is a small gim, if you were wondering.
Where did you find out this story?
On the internet.
I completed my evidence 10 days ago in Paris. I can't tell you the details now, for it's something of a history.
Plus, I'm making it up as I go.
But when I was quite sure in my own mind, I judged it my business to disappear. And I reached this city by a mighty queer circuit.
He said circuit.
Till yesterday, I thought I had muddied my trail some.
Pooped my pants.
And was feeling pretty happy. Then...
The recollection seemed to upset him, and he gulped down some more whiskey.
Then I saw a man standing in the street outside this block. I used to stay close in my room all day, and only slip out after dark for an hour or two.
Before I burst into flames in the sunlight.
I watched him for a bit from my window. I thought I recognized him. He came in and spoke to the porter.
He said, "Can I have your autograph, Mr. Cole Porter?"
When I came back from my walk last night, I found a card in my letterbox.
It said, "Don't get well soon."
It bore the name of the man I want least to meet on God's earth.
Mr. Student Loan Collections Department. I think that the look in my companion's eyes, the sheer naked scare on his face, completed my conviction of his honesty. I said, "Put some clothes on that face, man."
What did you do next?
I realized I was bottled as sure as a pickled herring. And that there was only one way out.
To call a taxi.
I had to die.
Or that.
If my pursuers knew I was dead, they would go to sleep again.
How did you manage it?
I told the man who valets me that I was feeling pretty bad and got myself up to look like death. And that wasn't difficult, for I'm no slouch at disguises. Step 1, convince porter illness requires disguise. Then I got a corpse. You can always get a body in London if you know where to go for it, usually coming through the Rye. I fetched it back in a trunk on top of a four-wheeler, and I had to be assisted upstairs to my room. Okay, corpse, let's see here.
bastards, doggone it, spilled this ink, stupid pen. I had to pile up evidence for the inquest, so I went to bed and got my man to mix me a sleeping draught. And then I told him to clear out. He wanted to fetch me a doctor, but I swore some and said I couldn't abide leeches. I said, I promise I can't abide leeches. That's what I said, basically. All right, let's see here. Feigned death, ketchup bottle, sleeping ketchup bottle. Stupid pen keeps leaking. What's up with that? When I was left alone, I started to fake up that corpse. He was my size, and I judged he had perished from too much alcohol, so I put some spirits about the place. I invoked Cthulhu. The jaw was the weak point in the likeness, so I blew it away with a revolver. I dare say there will be somebody to swear having heard a shot, but there are no neighbors on my floor, and I guessed I could risk it. And I've got to get a new pen. This thing leaks like a sieve. I left the body in bed, dressed up in my pajamas, with a revolver lying on the bedclothes and a considerable mess around. Everybody doing a mess around. Then I got into a suit of clothes I had kept waiting for emergencies. I didn't dare shave for fear of leaving tracks, because I walk with my face, and besides, it wasn't any kind of use my trying to get into the streets. Weekend at Bernie's prequel here.
I had had you in my mind all day, and there seemed nothing to do but to make an appeal to you. I watched from my window till I saw you come home, and then slipped down the stair to meet you.
Oh, that would be my fault. I left a banana peel on the stairs earlier. He sat blinking like an owl, fluttering with nerves and desperately determined.
There, sir. I guess you know about as much as me of this business.
No, great. Now parents are going to complain that this game teaches kids how to smoke tobacco and drink alcohol. You make a circle, and you make a line down, and you make a line up. Come on, dude. Everybody's doing it. I was now pretty well convinced that he was going straight with me. It was the wildest sort of narrative, but I had heard in my time many steep tales which had turned out to be true. And if he had wanted to get a location in my flat and then cut my throat, he would have pitched a milder yarn. One made of cotton or lamb's wool, presumably.
Hand me your key, and I'll take a look at the corpse. Excuse my caution, but I'm bound to verify a bit if I can.
I reckoned you'd ask for that. But I haven't got it. It's on my chain on the dressing table.
That way no one can yank my chain.
I had to leave it behind, for I couldn't leave any clues to breed suspicions. The gentry who are after me are pretty bright-eyed citizens.
They have little LED lights on their eyeballs.
You'll have to take me on trust for the night, and tomorrow you'll get the proof of the corpse business right enough.
I thought for an instant or two.
Right. I'll trust you for the night. I'll lock you into this room and keep the key.
Because I trust you.
Just one word, Mr. Scudder. I believe you're straight. But if so be you are not, I should warn you that I'm a handy man with a gun.
23 words.
I haven't the privilege of your name, sir, but let me tell you that you're a true gentleman. Now, I'll thank you to lend me a razor.
So I can cut your throat? I mean shave. I took him into my bedroom and turned him loose. He scratched and pawed at the sheets, went in little circles, and then laid down quite comfortably. In half an hour's time, a figure came out that I scarcely recognized.
My hat, Mr. Scudder.
I call my hat Mr. Scudder. Only his gimlety, hungry eyes were the same. I could tell they were hungry because he was trying to shove biscuits into them. He was the very model of a modern major general, even to the brown complexion of some British officer who had a long spell in India. He was shaved clean, his hair was parted in the middle, and he had cut his eyebrows. So he no longer had a unibrow.
Not Mr. Scudder. Captain Theophilus Digby of the 40th Gurkhas, presently home on leave. I'll thank you to remember that, sir.
Okay, Scudder, now I'm scared. I made him up a bed in the smoking room and sought my own couch, more cheerful than I had been for the past month. Things did happen occasionally, even in this god-forgotten metropolis. Okay, everybody, it's time to pause it here, but gosh, I love this so much. And I hope I see you in the next episode. Alright, I'll see you later.